Power is never given to those who ask for it loudly. It belongs to the silent man who stands still while the world spins around him, becoming the gravity that others cannot escape. The architect of shadows. There is a silent code that governs female desire, and almost no man knows it. It is not compliments, beauty, or money. They are hidden psychological forces that awaken instinct, tension, and deep curiosity. If you understand these rules, you will never be ignored again. If you ignore them, you will remain invisible. Machiavelli knew that power lies not in what you show, but in what you make her feel. No one speaks of this because everyone is afraid to admit true human nature. But seduction has always been a game of power, perception, and emotional advantage. A woman does not desire the most handsome man, nor the richest, nor the nicest. She desires the one whose presence creates tension, mystery, and restlessness within her. The man who alters the environment just by existing. It is this silent impact that Machiavelli would have observed if he lived in the current century. The capacity to mold emotions without ever needing to reveal them completely. The error of men today is believing they need to prove value, whereas the man who truly awakens desire is the one who hides more than he offers, who controls the rhythm, who never shows himself available immediately. That is why the first secret rule is not about words, but about the atmosphere you create around you. A woman feels before she understands, perceives before she rationalizes, desires before she admits. You need to build this effect in a calculated way, without haste and without explaining yourself, for desire is born of contrast. The more she tries to interpret you, the more trapped she becomes. Women do not fall in love with the obvious. They connect to the obscure, the enigmatic, to what is not handed over on a silver platter. Predictability is the poison of attraction. Nothing destroys female interest more than a man who makes it too clear what he feels, what he wants, or where he intends to go. Impact is born of silence strategically placed, of the response that arrives a little later, of the look that communicates something she cannot name. This is not rudeness or coldness. It is emotional calculation. It is allowing her to feed the flame with her own imagination. And the female imagination, when instigated, does much more for you than any rehearsed phrase. The second hidden rule that no one dares to admit is that female desire activates when she perceives the man is not fighting for approval. There is nothing more destructive to attraction than a man seeking validation. A woman feels in the first exchange of words if you are trying to impress her, or if you are simply living your life with purpose. When she realizes you are guided by something greater than her, something internal, solid, and unshakable, desire awakens like an instinct, because deep down, every woman desires a man who does not need her emotionally, but chooses her regardless. This puts her in a state of alert, interest, and challenge. This is where the game truly begins. The third invisible rule is that most women desire emotional impact, not immediate stability. Do not confuse this with being toxic. It is not provoking insecurity, but internal movement. A man who is absolutely static, controlled, and goody-goody is too predictable. You need to have nuances, shadows, depth. You need to carry a vibration of silent intensity, as if there were something inside you she wants to know, but doesn't know if she is ready for. It is this dangerous magnetism that separates the common man from the man who leaves a mark. And marking is the only way to dominate female desire. A woman desires the one who awakens emotions in her that she cannot control. This is a universal psychological principle. The fourth hidden rule is the capacity to maintain your emotional axis regardless of what she does. This requires internal discipline and a strategic coldness that the majority do not possess. When she tests, when she provokes, when she subtly pushes you to lose control, the common man yields. The Machiavellian man observes. He understands that every female test is an attempt to measure his emotional strength. Nothing leaves a woman more attracted than realizing her attempts failed, because this proves silently that you are not in the game to please, but to command your own energy. This posture is so rare, it becomes irresistible. The fifth secret rule arises precisely from the mastery of reactions, the art of not justifying oneself. The common man explains himself all the time. Sorry for not replying fast. I was busy. Don't think badly of me. Each of these phrases kills a little bit of desire. Not justifying yourself is showing that you do not fear losing anything, because everything you offer is a choice, not a necessity. A woman respects and deeply desires the man who does not rush to cure her discomfort, because it shows he has his own life and rhythm. When she realizes you do not chase, that you do not try to control her perception, she naturally starts running through the space you occupy. The ugly and hidden truth is that women desire men who disturb their emotional balance, but never their own balance. While the majority try to be the perfect guy, you must be the unforgettable man. Desire never is born from comfort, but from tension. Connection is not desire. Connection may come from affection, but desire never does. Desire is born of duality. She feels attracted, but does not understand you completely. She wants you, but feels she does not possess you. She thinks of you, but you do not bow to her emotion. It is in this space, between what she feels and what she cannot predict, that the most sensitive point of female psychology lives. Therefore, the sixth hidden rule of Machiavellian seduction is to dominate the space between presence and absence. Be intensely present when you choose to be, and completely absent when you decide to disappear. Not for a cheap game, but for emotional strategy. Presence in excess becomes weight. Strategic absence becomes mystery, and mystery is the primal food of desire. When a man is too constant, too predictable, too delivered, she feels she has already deciphered him. Every woman, deep down, only desires that which she does not yet understand. You must allow her mind to work, to question why he disappeared, why he seems so calm, why he doesn't react like the others. Absence is the tool that transforms curiosity into obsession. And obsession is the highest level of female desire. But remember, absence without purpose becomes disinterest. Machiavellian absence is calculated and sharp. It must occur at the exact moment she believes she has started to understand you. It is like turning off the light when she reaches out to flip the switch. It is in this silent frustration that you plant the seed of lasting desire. The seventh rule, equally ignored, is controlling the emotional rhythm of the conversation. The majority speak too much. Men who speak without a filter hand over their weaknesses without realizing it. They reveal insecurities in small phrases and disguised needs. The woman hears everything and interprets everything. The Machiavellian art is to answer little, but answer with impact. Short phrases and profound intentions. Never give everything at once. Too much information eliminates mystery. Too much clarity destroys attention. You must be like a film that shows only parts of the plot, forcing the viewer to fill the rest with imagination. Since female imagination is much more intense than male imagination, she will construct versions of you much more powerful than any image you could project. The eighth hidden rule, almost no one admits, is that women desire emotionally impenetrable men. Not cold, not robotic, not indifferent, but impenetrable. It is the difference between absence of emotion and mastery of emotion. Coldness repels, but impenetrability attracts because she perceives there are emotions inside, but they are not handed over at any moment. This generates respect, and from respect, desire is born. If you react to everything, get irritated by little things, show anxiety, or beg for answers, you position yourself as someone she controls. But when she realizes she cannot move you emotionally, that your words do not change your posture, something inside her wakes up, because the man she cannot break is the only one worth conquering. The ninth rule is cruel but true. A woman desires the man who is in constant ascension. A man standing still has no magnetism. Female desire follows the same psychological pattern as admiration. She connects to movement, ambition, and vision. It is not what you have, it is where you are going. Ambition is an aphrodisiac, purpose is seductive, and progress is irresistible. When a man grows, he disturbs the environment around him. And for a woman, a man who disturbs the environment is a man who modifies her emotions. Stagnation generates comfort, but that which advances generates desire. The 10th rule, perhaps the most secret of all, is the art of creating silent emotional impact. It is not about what you say, but what she feels when she thinks of you. A man who manages to become a recurring thought in a woman's mind has already won the game. How do you become recurring? By being rare. Never be available in excess. Never give yourself too easily. Never make her your center. You become unforgettable when she realizes that although you are desirable, you belong to no one. The sensation of exclusivity combined with inaccessibility is the most powerful weapon in seduction. She desires the man everyone wants, but who chooses no one with ease. This man becomes an enigma, and enigmas are irresistible. The Machiavellian truth the world prefers to hide is simple. Women do not desire pure goodness. They desire depth, strength, mystery, emotional power, and above all, the man who does not need to be desired to exist. The man who suffices, who does not chase, but is always followed. True emotional manipulation never happens when you try to convince someone of something, but when you create an atmosphere where the person convinces themselves. Female desire operates exactly like this. The less you explain your intentions, the more her mind tries to understand them. And while she tries, she is already emotionally involved. Women do not fall in love with what is shown, but with what is insinuated. Insinuation is the Machiavellian man's most powerful weapon. You never reveal everything. You allow her to see enough to imagine the rest. Absolute transparency generates boredom. Trust is born of coherence, not complete surrender. Do not promise, demonstrate. Do not say what you feel. Let her perceive it in minimal details. The man who speaks too much about his intentions loses impact, while the man who silences and acts causes restlessness. Restlessness is one of the deepest triggers of female desire. She wants to know why you don't open up totally, why you don't get emotional easily. Strategic silence is a prison she enters smiling. Most women don't want to control a man. They want to feel they found someone impossible to control. Every test is a veiled question. Are you like the others, or are you different? The man who remains unshakable, who observes before acting, immediately stands out. Women desire men with shadows. Society told you to be perfect, kind, predictable, but there is no desire in the perfect. An interesting man carries nuances, contradictions, depth. He is capable of affection, but also distance, attention, but also silence. This mixture of light and darkness creates visceral magnetism. Women do not desire men who put them on a pedestal. They desire men who put themselves on their own pedestal. When she realizes you live for your mission, she sees you as high value. You take the power from her and place it in you, not by aggression, but by posture. The Machiavellian man does not try to fix female emotions. He does not run to put out every spark of discomfort. He understands that would be placing himself as dependent on her emotional approval. Instead, he observes and welcomes when he decides to, but never rushes to solve everything. A woman respects the man who does not melt before her emotional fragility, because he demonstrates psychological maturity and self-control. Women are attracted to the man whose absence weighs more than the presence of others. You don't need to be the richest or most handsome. You need to be the most self-sufficient. When she realizes she can lose you because you live a life that does not depend on her, desire takes shape. Seduction is not built by abundance, but by strategic scarcity. When you reduce access, you increase value. The Machiavellian Man is a book with pages torn out. A woman desires the man who manages to keep her a little insecure, not about herself, but about what he feels. Controlled insecurity generates curiosity. It is not about humiliation, but simply not revealing the depth of your emotions too soon. It is in the space of doubt that desire grows with the most force. Women desire difficult men because it signals value. Difficulty is not rejection, it is selectivity. The difficult man protects his own time and energy. The Machiavellian man leaves traces. She thinks of him when he is not there. He becomes a recurring thought, and everything that repeats in the mind transforms into desire. Invisible constancy is more powerful than striking presence. The Machiavellian man accepts being misunderstood. Her discomfort creates more attraction than her approval. Women desire men with boundaries, internal fortresses. The man who tolerates disrespect loses value instantly. When she realizes you do not need her for anything but choose to be there, desire explodes, because choice without necessity is power.
Female desire is sustained by the perception that you are a man who can leave at any moment without suffering, not out of coldness, but out of self-sufficiency. The man who does not fear loss is the most powerful in the game of attraction. He simply lives by his own principles, and whoever wants to accompany him will need to rise as well. Desire is born of emotional friction, of unresolved tension. Never place yourself as a certainty in her life. Certainty generates comfort, and comfort destroys attraction. When she feels you are stable but unpredictable, present but inaccessible, her heart goes on alert. Women desire men who carry a controlled darkness. Not destructive darkness, but an emotional depth that does not reveal itself easily. The man who shows too much vulnerability is weak. The Machiavellian man reveals only fragments. Women desire men who lead energetically, who demonstrate control over themselves. While others try to impress with effort, he impresses with presence. The man who is not attached, who does not live in fear of loss, walks with a lightness that drives women crazy. You are the exception, and the exception always wins. The most silent rule of all: the Machiavellian man never gives himself before being chosen. He observes, evaluates, and tests her depth. The value of a man is directly linked to his capacity to be selective. When emotion conquers logic, desire is born. This is why you must never be excessively available. Routine is the death of desire. She needs to feel that, however much you are present, you are not completely hers. Possession eliminates tension, and without tension, there is no attraction. Women desire men who make them evolve emotionally, who expose them to their own shadow. The man who is not afraid to confront inconsistency or establish limits generates respect. You need to be emotionally inaccessible, but energetically present, a perfect paradox. The woman becomes a hunter when she realizes there is something valuable she does not yet possess. The psychological inversion is total and extremely powerful. Women desire men who carry purpose. When she realizes your life does not revolve around her, she starts to see you as someone who deserves to be followed. The Machiavellian man surprises with real intensity. One day deep, the next distant. This oscillation creates an emotional memory that fixes deeply. What marks a woman is not total stability, but measured intensity. Women desire the man they cannot completely decipher. A man who dominates thought dominates the body. Dominating thought is about speaking less and showing little. It is not about running after, but leaving tracks. Ultimately, the most powerful hidden rule is this: do not be the man who desires to be desired. Be the man who lives so intensely and aligned with his own truth that desire simply is born around him. Seduction is a magnetism that is born from within. The man who controls himself controls everything. The one who does not bow marks. The one who does not beg attracts. The one who does not give himself easily drives them mad. Female desire is a natural response to masculine emotional power. The man who awakens instant desire is not the one who tries to conquer, but the one no one can forget.